Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to Ginger Prime. My name is Brian, if you're new around here, and today we're jumping into the news as it surrounds New World and the latest round of the public test realm that just dropped right now. In fact, yes, if you're listening to my voice, yes, it is January. You can actually go and play this content right now and check out the new things that are coming. And that's one of the key aspects that I want to give you guys, especially as it relates to this video. If you haven't been keeping up with the news, the developer blogs, and more, or haven't been keeping up with the videos here on the channel, what is coming to New World? And this is something that I've personally been very excited to both test out, get some feedback to the developers on, but also as we look into that kind of harder PvE style content for the game itself. So without further ado, let's jump into this post. We'll dive in like we usually do. If you guys enjoy these kind of updates and news posts, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, as it helps out the channel in that way. Expedition modifiers, aka the Mutators system. With this PTR release, they're actually introducing a new endgame feature, Expedition Mutators. Mutators change the familiar by augmenting normal and named enemies found within expeditions and change the way the encounters play out so that the strategies the player would consider before battle. And as combat changes, so do the rewards. New bespoke gear and resources can be found, providing additional means to increase your power level. This system is intended to rotate through a unique combination of expedition and mutators each week, with 10 difficulty levels per expedition mutation. Now, players will be able and to be challenged to climb this ladder and aim for eventually reaching the max difficulty. However, during this PTR cycle, these rotations will be placed on an accelerated schedule so that everyone can get a chance to play a variety of mutations on several endgame expeditions. Now, please be advised that recommended gear score levels for the mutated expedition is important, and it is directly factors into how the enemies are scaled, and by a consequence, your chances of success. So please note, the combat scaling is individual per player and separate from the base difficulty increases in health and damage. Now, they do expect higher difficulties to be extremely difficult, so that they will be very interested to see how group outcomes and scores are done, especially from those who consider themselves highly competitive or highly skilled. To accommodate for this month's PTR playtesting, players will be giving a starting gear score of 600. So how do you actually get in? PTRs, all players will be issued a generous sum of keys to run these expeditions. Upon approaching and interacting with these expedition menus, players will be able to see the type of mutators available and the mutation level, gear score recommendation to advance, and lastly, if they meet the qualifications for entry. So regarding scoring and advancement, scores is performance based, taken from a combination of categories. Score is also shared value for the various group members. The following categories count towards the group's overall score value. Time. The better the time, the better the score calculated at the end of the run. It's going to tell you right there, DPS is probably going to be absolutely critical, especially when you have a score factor based off your time. AI kills. The target value for killing a predetermined amount of enemies within the expedition. Takedowns. The target value for killing named enemies within the expedition. Team wipes. Each team wipe during a boss fight reduces the score by a significant amount. Ooh, that's okay. Welcome to the Mutators, aka Drama Time show, everyone. We'll have some interesting things to report on in 2022. Respawns. Each respawn reduces the score by a moderate amount. There's also a bonus multiplier for run efficiency, minimal respawning, wiping speed, and taking down of all the targets. These are calculated at the end of the run, and score ranks are bronze, silver, and gold. Advancements through each mutator difficulty level requires reaching the predestination level of proficiency within the highest achieved level. Higher scores means advancement to higher difficulties, which in turn leads to bigger rewards. So regarding the schedule, during the duration of the PTR test cycle, this is going to be how everything is run every 48 hours. First, Dynasty Shipyard, Guardian of Genesis, and Lazarus Instrumentality. Furthermore, they feel like the following schedule mechanics are also worth spotlighting. The difficulty of each mutated expedition is tracked separately and will persist across mutation cycles. There's a total of 8 different mutation combinations that will be randomly cycled alongside the 48-hour rotator for the expedition. The expedition interact menu will display the current mutations available. So regarding the changes for expeditions, with the release of the Expedition Mutators, we've made some balanced changes and updates to existing content. We made expeditions more exciting by updating rewards and drop rates, bringing them in line with other in-game or endgame activities. Both words work in this case. Drop rates for named enemies and expeditions have been significantly increased. T5 gear has been added to the Dynasty Shipyard loot tables when playing in the Mutated Expedition, and they've also adjusted certain enemy counts in Lazarus Instrumentality, reduced the number of enemies when sealing the Ancient Azoth portals in the Ostrum. PTR backstory loadouts. Upon character creation of the PTR, players will be given multiple caches of armor and weapons. Each cache is designated based off a general build in the main attribute, con, dex, etc. In addition, they'll also be issuing a large sum of orbs to facilitate the mutator runs in order to accelerate scheduling. Now, in the event that the orbs are exhausted, re-roll a new character and will provide an additional set of orbs. To help manage the sudden onset of new items, we advise that you please do not open all provided caches once the risk becoming encumbered. Instead, equip all provided bags and then follow up on opening each cache deliberately. Any undesired caches can be dropped or deposited into your personal settlement storage. And lastly, during the final week of testing, a new loadout will be provided with a maximum gear out score of 625, allowing for a renewed take on the level 10 difficulty mutations. And to take advantage of this offer, a new character will need to be created. So, new features: the Umbral Shard equipment upgrade system. With this release, they've added an Umbral Shard to the game. Umbral Shards are mysterious, powerful resources that enable you to take an item with a gear score of 600 all the way up to 625. Raising your equipment's gear score in a way is critical if you want to dive into the higher difficulty mutated expeditions or gain a competitive edge in PvP. We have also increased the expertise cap to 625, and there is an earnable soft cap to 600, which you can reach in the game same ways as before, such as the gypsum cast and defeating powerful enemies. With this upgrade, crafting gear at 600 items will also raise your expertise if you are not already at 600 for them. Going from 600 to 625 requires Umbral Shards, which can be acquired in 3 ways: completing mutated expeditions, crafting a gear score of 600 when your expertise of that item is also 600, and opening a gypsum cast when your expertise is also set to 600. Umbral Shards can only be applied to an equipment piece if both of these 2 conditions are met. Equipment gear score is 600 and your expertise of that piece is also 600. And then they are also looking for your feedback and more in that regards. Outpost Rush ballast changes. We think that the summoning of brutes provided a way to be too frequent and too easily handled by solo players alone. So with this, they want it to be more of a group effort, so they've increased the cost of it by 50%. Brute summoning stones cost is increased from 500 to 750 Azoth essence. For combat, the following combat-related changes have also been made with this update. They fixed an issue for the bow that allowed players to instantly jump cancel the bow shot recovery. Void Gauntlet, the blessed item perk, is now available on the Void Gauntlet, and ammo refunded. Effects from abilities, perks, and the attribute bonus that refunds ammo now has this 2-second cooldown. Fast travel costs. We've heard your frustrations with the cost of fast travel, and this release includes an update that dramatically reduces the distance factor to the amount of Zoth required for each trip. According to the Faction Control bonus association with fast travel, it now reduces the distance factor to 0. And the PTR frequently asked questions: when can you access this new PTR? It's available right now. Can you transfer your character? You cannot. These are going to be separately brand new characters that you have to play, so none of your progress in the PTR actually impacts the full game. Can you provide feedback? Yes, they're constantly looking feedback through the forums. If you have a problem, how can you contact customer support? Via their policies and code of conduct over the PTR. In-game moderation will continue to be supported. Unfortunately, due to the temporary and potentially unstable nature of the PTR, general customer service assistance through both live chat and through the support website may not be available. And if you don't want to participate in the PTR, can you remove the app from your library? Don't worry, that you're okay with it. You can right click and say manage and remove the game via the hide game function over on the PTR. Guys, here we are gearing up for a really big year for New World in 2022, especially I think with the mutator system. I think that's going to be a real great way to kick off the year. We also know new weapons are on the way: the blunderbuss, the daggers, the great sword. I think it's going to be a really exciting year for New World. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the game as much as I am. Hopefully we'll meet up in game, whether we're at war or if we're working towards a common goal in terms of that. And as my voice cracks, I think it's time to wrap up this video. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being awesome. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in my next one. But until then, take care.
I just want to say I'm really glad you're feeling better, and I love the videos. Well, I love you too. Michelle? Shoot for the moon, and so even if you fail, you'll reach the stars. Go for the 100K subscribers. Yeah.